And welcome to our community. Susie Thomas joining you this morning. And with me, we've got two folks from Akron Children's Hospital in different roles, and we'll find out more about that. Susan Somerville and Brian Hollingsworth. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Susan, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about what you do and what your role is and why we're talking to you this morning.
Well, I head up Project Ed Bear, and Project Ed Bear is an all-volunteer organization. We're a 501c3, and we provide comforts and needs for children with cancer. So basically what we do is provide most things that aren't medical on the unit up at Akron Children's Hospital in the hematology-oncology unit.
Now, are you part of the hospital, or is this a volunteer organization that works alongside the hospital?
This is a volunteer organization that works alongside of the hospital. We've been doing it for 21 years.
Wow. And Ed Bear, where does that name come from?
Ed is my son, and he had bone tumors when he was 11 years old, and we were very fortunate, and it turned out to be non-cancerous. It turned out to be something called McCune-Albright disease, but he was not cancerous, so we were very grateful and felt very blessed and wanted to give back, and that's how the whole thing started.
And this was born from it, and look how many children have benefited in the meantime.
Yes.
Brian, your role at Akron Children's Hospital.
I work in the foundation, and I work with donors and volunteers, and just try to find different ways that we can strengthen the hospital. And so I one of the areas I work with is the hematology-oncology area, cancer and blood disorders. And so I'm privileged to work with Susan and a lot of other great volunteers that give back to our cancer patients.
You've been there how many years now?
I've been with the hospital for 12 years and the foundation for 10 years.
Well, how time flies when you're having fun, huh? Here's what I remember. I'm going to take a little bunny trail here. I believe it was a Lego building. Was that when you were doing like an addition to the hospital or something? Tell us a little bit about that, because it was remarkable.
Sure. Yeah, we just recently, in May of this year, we completed our K Jewelers Pavilion, which is a great new building that has addressed a lot of needs that we had at the hospital. It has a new neonatal intensive care unit, a new outpatient surgery center, a new emergency room, and we thought it would be a cool thing for the grand opening to have a Lego representation of it. So we pulled together a lot of volunteers, and they gave up their Saturdays and evenings to put one brick on top of the other and create a Lego representation. So.
And it really was, when you were finished, how large was this?
It's about 4 feet by 4 feet wide. It took over, I think it was over 80,000 Legos.
Man,
so, yeah.
You're not taking it apart, right?
Oh, no.
Okay,
yeah.
that will always be there.
We did something that you're not supposed to do with Legos. We actually put some glue on it.
I
guess that's like a taboo, but...
We won't tell anyone.
Right, no, thank you. But we put glue on it so to make sure if it got moved around and was shaken that it wouldn't fall apart. So,
watch all the people fall apart as they watch it. Oh, my
yeah.
goodness, after all those hours. That's just such a fun thing. And speaking of fun, this is what I think is the contradictory thing about working with children with cancer, and maybe you both can talk to this. Somehow you go into those treatment centers, you go into where children or families where this is the center of their lives, really, because it's become everything else is put on hold. They are treating a child with cancer. And for some reason, you all are able to make this a happy place, a happy experience, a happy room. There's so much warmth and joy in the middle of this battle. Can you each talk about that and how you pull that off?
Well, I think that's easier for us because that's our mission. You know, it is to provide comforts and joy, and so that's what we set out to do. And bring a little bit of something in the middle of all that. And you're right, it is a very painful time for most families and a very intimate time for most families. So we try to bring in some diversion and something that, you know, when your child is happy or something makes them happy or gives them joy, as a parent, it gives you joy too. So it's just like a contagious thing after the kids are introduced to whatever it is we are bringing in at the time. Some of the things we do is provide stockings at Christmas time. We have Camp Ed Bear in the summertime, and that's run by Akron Children's Hospital. Camp Ed Bear is, and the kids just love that. And we
Tell us a little bit about what takes place there.
everything that they can possibly do to have fun and be just like every other child going to camp.
Wow.
And then we have a cabin that's filled with nursing staff so that, everyone feels very secure about sending their children there and letting them go off and have fun, and they're right there if anything at all medically is needed.
So are things adapted in some way, modified in some way, so that things that normally are not wheelchair accessible would be, and kids can swim and so forth? How logistically, how does this work?
We do have a pool that is heated, which is very important because we have some of our children are hemophiliacs, and you have to have a pool temperature or water temperature at a certain temperature in order to even be able to go in. So that's why we like the heated pool. If you have a lake, you're always, just dependent on what the weather is. And so we want everyone to be able to do everything. As far as adapting, yes, there's handicap accessibility all over the camp.
So craft time and everything you remember about camp that was so much fun.
Everything.
All the kids get to participate.
Zip line. They have a zip line.
My.
They have we have craft time. They have, they do it all. They have horses right on premises. So the hospital does a great job of making it a really fun time for the kids.
Where's this located, Susan?
This is in Ravenna at Camp Carl.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And tell us about, now I know we're out of season right now, but some people might want to think about this for the future. Do you need volunteers to come out, and what does it take to become a volunteer?
Well, Project Ed Bear has volunteers come out on a Saturday in the daytime to help with arts and crafts, and they would just need to contact Project Ed Bear if that is something they're interested. The hospital is who they would need to contact if someone was interested in perhaps being a camp counselor. They would need to go through the hospital to do that, so they could call the 5th floor. They could call the hematology unit for that.
Brian, back to you. All right. Tell us about your role in all of this, getting all of this funded, because these kinds of things sound expensive.
They are, yeah. And, the hospital is able to provide, kind of medical treatment, but we really rely on the community to do a lot of the fun things. So Project Ed Bear has been wonderful in helping us with that mission of bringing a smile to a child's face, and making sure that when they're in the hospital that they are distracted, that they are still having fun. Sometimes they're in for months at a time, and so just having that knowledge that someone cares about them just goes a long way towards bolstering their spirits just as a child, and also medically, you want to keep your spirits up so that you have the strength to fight what comes next. So trying to find funding for everything can be challenging, but we are so grateful to Project Ed Bear for just the many ways that they help us, not just at a couple times during the year, but throughout the whole year, to create these great experiences for our patients.
We're speaking with Brian Hollingsworth from Akron Children's Hospital and Susan Somerville, who oversees the Project Ed Bear, and I understand Big Gala is coming up November 30th. Tell me about it.
The gala will be at the Quaker Station on November 30th. Doors open at 5 o'clock. It is going to be amazing. This year our theme is Star Wars. And I will tell you, out of the 21 years we've been doing this, we've never had a theme. It's always been an amazingly fun night, but this time we expect it to be, just like the best it's ever been, especially for our kids. We have 30 children coming that will be featured. There are 30 of our Project Ed Bear kids, children that are fighters or survivors, and they will walk a red carpet and go up on stage and receive Outstanding Bravery Awards or Survivor medals. And then they get a swag bag that's just filled with all sorts of items from a lot of different folks that give throughout the year for it, and also from Project Ed Bear. We always add in. And this year they're going to have lightsabers, and we have a few little girls, so they'll have my size Frozen dolls, and it's just a wonderful time for the children. Now, it's also our main fundraiser of the year. It's a huge gala and an auction combined. So we have a lot of silent auction items and a lot of oral auction items, and one of the things that we have that we make no money off of, but is also something very fun for every child that walks in the room, is a child's auction table, and it's just set up with tickets and cups, and every child that enters receives 10 tickets, whether they're one of our kids or they're any child walking in. And so they can go up and put their tickets in the cups in front of the toy that they want, and the names are drawn right before we go up on. So everybody has something.
That's a fun way to do an auction. That's kind of a fun way, and kind of like more fair. It's just really fun. You just never know, no matter how much you are willing to donate, whether you're going to win or not. So
we just do that for the children. We have the silent auction is like a regular silent auction.
So much fun. Now, when you say that the theme is Star Wars, is this dress up?
Yes, we're going to allow the children and anyone else, any guest that wants to, and a lot of our volunteers are already dress up.
So instead of running a tux, run a Darth Vader costume instead. That just sounds too fun.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a really fun year. We have a green screen set up and a photographer there that will be taking Star Wars pictures. We have everyone can be a Jedi. We have Jedi outfits for anyone to put on for that, and lightsabers, and it's just going to be a hoot.
Oh, my goodness. What a blast. All right, that's November 30th. Remind us where and how can people get tickets?
It is at Quaker Station in downtown Akron. The doors open at 5, and tickets can be bought online at www.projectedbear.org.
Okay, writing this down. projectedbear.org. And how much are tickets, Susan?
Tickets are $30. Mm-hmm. We never make money on tickets. It's just
it's when you're there.
The food, right?
That is brilliant. Get more people there.
Right.
That's just brilliant. Okay, so there is, and remind us the entertainment of the night besides just all the fun of Star Wars. The children's auction, and then a silent auction. Is there a live auction as well?
There's a live auction.
Oh, yes. What are some of the things that we have an opportunity to win?
Well, some of our really cool things this year are we have a lot of Star Wars items that have been signed by the cast of Star Wars.
Really?
Yes. And so we have, your original number 4 poster. So that's the original Star Wars that's signed by the cast of Star Wars. Framed and authenticated. We also have one that's a 1 through 6, a Star Wars 1 through 6. And we have several photos, Darth Vader, our original Darth Vader, and R2-D2 and C-3PO. We also have a cast-signed framed photo of the Downton Abbey cast, and we have one of the Game of Thrones cast.
Okay. Well, these prizes sound like you've been reading my diary. We have to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to be back with Susan and with Brian after these words. You're listening to Our Community.